Hey guys, so in this video I'm gonna show you how to configure Z editor. It's a new editor written in Rust. It's super fast and it has built-in support for Vim motions. And they recently open sourced this project, so you can go to their repo here and see all the code they've written. It's pretty amazing. They have a custom UI library written in Rust as well, which is really powerful. When you open Z, you would see something like this. It's similar to the typical, VS Code and other editor. There's a sidebar with the project files, and then they have a terminal, very similar to VS Code. So if you go here, and then you can change, or you can see your configurations. So open settings, you see it's also JSON configuration, also similar to VS Code. However, I think it's a bit more flexible. So let's say we want to change our color scheme. It comes with a bunch. So let's say I want to have Groovebox dark. You see it already adds it here. And one cool thing about this is that they actually have auto-completion for their configuration. So here you see all the different configurations that they have. So if I put Vim or Vim Mode to true, it now becomes or activates the Vim motion for us. Also notice that there is some sort of an AI going. This editor comes shipped in or comes with Copilot already baked in, and they have also another AI assistant thing. Yeah, so let's start configuring this and just kind of make it feels or work a bit similar to how I use Neovim. So as a reminder, for my Neovim configuration, I have some keymaps that I really like to use, and I want to kind of port them to this new editor. So I do like this one here. Essentially, these two here will allow you to select a line, for example, and then go or move it up and down with just capital K and capital J. And next one, I would love to have this JJ kind of map to escape if you're in insert mode. And then some of the search stuff, I want to kind of leave them the same way. If I go to my which key, not this one, so this guy here. Some of the key maps I think I would love to port is like this formatting one. I have it mapped to leader, which is space LF. L stands for LSP for me. So I would love this to be the same thing. And for the rename as well, leader LR, diagnostics, and what else do I want to change here or port? The telescope stuff, I pretty much want to try to keep them the same way. So leader F will open up the search for me. Leader ST will open the fuzzy search for like text. And leader E will actually open and close my finder. So like I can do leader tab here, open up my sidebar, Neotree. And yeah, so let's start moving things and see if I can just port some of my favorite keymaps. So leader LA, for example, will trigger code actions. That's very important for me. Yeah, let's start. So first, I want to actually work with the kind of the configuration itself, the settings before the keymaps. So it's like similar to VS Code, like Shift Command P would essentially open up this command thing here, and you can probably type keymaps. This is where you put your custom keymaps, and again, keymaps default. This thing will show you pretty much all the different keymaps you can possibly use in this editor and change everything. So also similar to other editors, you can pretty much copy these and just change the commands. One thing to notice here is like their syntax. So shift backspace, like they have this minus here in some areas. So we have to probably keep the same formatting. Yeah, they pretty much use like a dash for between words. Cool. So back to settings. I will be referring to I have notes on my other monitor, so I don't waste a lot of time. So for font, they have this buffer font, so I would use this one. And for this, it's awesome that I have auto completion for all the fonts available on my computer, so I can just use Berkeley Nerd font and save it. Notice now if I open up my terminal again, we should see some icons. Yep, see this guy here. So Nerd font is working. And then for font size, also they have the completion, so hit tab, this should get it done. So let's just keep it 16 so you guys can see. Next, they have this base keymap, which essentially kind of a starting point for your keymaps if you want to work like JetBrains or Sublime or etc. I like to leave it as VS Code for now. So this allows me to essentially use something like Shift Command P to open up this guy here. I think this is a good way to start. Obviously with different Vim keymaps, eventually this will change, but for now this is a good starting point. Next, relative numbers. So if I type in relative line numbers, I want this to be true. There you go. So now we have relative numbers. The next thing I do is cursor blinking. So this guy, I don't like my cursor to blink, so I'll say false. There you go. Next, see this guy here, this scroller thingy. We don't like that, so let's see if I can remove it. Scroll bar is false. This actually should be an object, I think. Is that how we do it? Nope. Actually, we should do something like show to never. There you go. Now it's gone forever. We don't see that anymore. Next, line height. That's nice. So let's put that 5. Let's see what happens if I put like 2 here. So this is probably not the one we want. Let's put here buffer. So they have the concept of buffer similar to Neovim. So this thing here is considered a buffer. So I can say buffer line height and 1 point, let's say 5. Maybe 1.5 this way. Or how do you do that? Well, oh, it's an object. So essentially you do something like custom and then you just put 1.5 here. There you go. So let's say 2. Yep, that's what I'm looking for. Cool. Next, terminal. And here, let's say if I put control space, yeah, that opens up pretty much everything for me. That's pretty nice. Like you can actually have auto completion in your JSON. Here I have the font that I want to use. It's the same one. So Berkeley Nerd font. And I want the font size to be 15. So if I open up my terminal, let's see what makes sense here. So maybe 16. Let's keep it at 15. Next, yeah, line height actually is important here. Let's also do custom and 1.5. So if we see our terminal, let's list things. Yeah, that's good enough. Next to my terminal, there's a couple things I will configure in a bit, but let's stop here and then move on to our keymaps. So here we have like a simple, pretty basic Go project just to kind of test things out. There's nothing really special. But as you can see, like the color scheme is pretty nice. Our favorite groove box. And notice as well, this is really, really fast. Like, I don't know if you can even notice it on this video, but everything is really, really snappy. Okay, so you can tell, right, like hover, Shift K, it's not doing what I want. So we should probably start configuring our keymaps. And let's go to keymaps here. So if we go to the default one actually first and go all the way up. So it's an array of objects and we have like different things. See hover, editor hover. So that's how they trigger hover. And I want this to be Shift K or capital K. So I think we should go back to the documentation and look at a couple things. So here's our Vim kind of config. There's a section here, which is this guy. So, you know, we have different modes in Vim or Neovim. These here will essentially kind of translate into each one of those Vim modes. So let's copy this and go back to our editor and paste them. Okay, so anything you put within this block here will essentially work within the normal mode and visual mode. And here will just be in normal mode. This guy here is only in visual, and this guy here would work in insert mode. So this is cool. I already have this one. Now if I go to insert mode and I hit JJ, it goes back to normal mode, or it's translated to escape essentially, which is nice. Also, if I put let's call in here, it opens up this command. You know, in Neovim, if I do that, we have this thing here. Where here, yeah, it's pretty nice. So I would think to start with the hover one here. Let's just keep it empty and say hover. Okay, so I want this to be Shift K, which essentially would be if I press in capital K, I want this to show me the hover. Okay, and remember I put this dash here because that's the syntax they're using. So like this one. So if I open up my code here and just go here, for example, Shift K, that opens up. And also if I just put my mouse over it, it also hovers. Cool, so now we have kind of a starting point. We can just fill up this whole thing. All right, next. We said we want to have the renaming and code actions and these things. So let's just continue here. I can do something like code confirm toggle code action. I think this is the one. It's really good that this has like auto completion for these things. I don't want to be looking for them somewhere else. So for code action, I have like space L A in Neovim. So maybe I can just space L and A and see if that works. If I open up my code, space L A, yeah, that shows something. So code action works. Next, formatting. I want space LF to be formatting. So I can do format. And let's test that out. Just spaces, space LF. All right, that works. What else? Renaming. That's exactly what I want. Thank you, Copilot. So if I go here, for example, and space LR. Okay. Someone. Yep, that works perfectly. Next, interesting, signature help. Okay, is that the same? Actually, that doesn't work. Okay, so diagnostics. Yep, let's look at diagnostics. So if I open up my code again and just let's remove this and save, we obviously have an error. If I hover, I can see the problem here. But you know, in my editor here, usually what happens is I can press space LL and open up trouble and see all the problems. I want to have something similar, so space LL, I want to open up my diagnostics. So going back to Keymaps, I essentially want space L and L, and I want this to be diagnostics. Deploy, I think. So if I go here and I hit space LL, yeah, that opens up that. There's something pretty cool about it as well. If you go here, for example, and mess up something else and hit space LL. Okay, so it's only showing you one. It only shows you the first one, apparently. Okay, but that works. So you see here, it opens up like a whole new tab for that, which is pretty cool. Also, I noticed that if you hit space LL and you go here, you can essentially click on those and just go to the file itself or where the problem is, or you can press J space. So J space. There you go. That does it for me. All right. So this concept of deploy is interesting. It's like, it seems like it opens up a new tab for the thing you're trying to do. Okay, I want to now bind the searching thing. So let's see. Search, pane deploy search. Maybe find. Yeah, find. That's the one I want. So for this one, it will be essentially space F. And so if I press space F now, I have my essentially a finder, a search thing. Next one would be tab switcher. So one thing I have in my Neovim, so space F will open up my telescope search thingy. Space O will open up all my buffers in this. So I can essentially switch between buffers by just pressing space O and then just selecting one. So I want something similar. So space O will select a buffer for me. Buffer. That would be tab switcher. Tab switcher. This guy. So now if I press space O, I can do the same thing here. So I can select the open buffers. And let's try that again. So if I open up a main.go, and there you go. So now I can switch between buffers this way. Let's go to our keymaps and continue. Next, I want to do space E or space tab, I guess space E in this time. And I want to essentially close and open this file tree here. And I know that this is called left dock. There you go. So now space E will hide and show this thing. Also, this works like Neovim. So if I do Control W and L, or interesting, it doesn't actually. So I thought you can just switch between the two. I know there's some configuration for that, but if you close this, you're back here. If you open it, you're kind of working inside of this tree here. Next, I want to have the outline. So in Neovim as well, if I press space P, it shows me kind of all the different symbols in this file. And I use that a lot. So usually my flow is that I open up a file or in a project, and then I go to my specific kind of coding I'm working on, specific file, and then essentially I start with a find. Let's say I'm going to go to the LSP, and then open up multiple buffers maybe, and then space O will switch between them, and space F will take me to a function that I'm working on. So here, that would be an outline. Yep, this one. Let's go back here and put space O for outline. Space P, I think. Yeah, there you go. Now I can search essentially symbols, which is quite the same. So if I go to my main.go and space P. See, it shows me that, and this is cool actually. It selects the whole thing for me. All right, it highlights it actually. That's nice. Going back to my keymaps. One thing actually that I really enjoy in my configuration here, if I go to my keymaps, there's one. I think I put it in on attach. So this guy is really helpful. Essentially what this does is I can, if I hit space V, essentially this opens up the definition, or the definition of this code in a vertical split. It is really cool. Okay, so we want to do this vertical split. So space V. And here what I want to do is go to definition split. That's what I want. So if I go to main here, and let's just say I want to look up this println space V, it opens up in a split view. Nice. Going back to my keymaps, we already covered a lot here, so that's awesome. Comments. So I know they have good support for that already. So GCC, actually this is removing things. I don't want that. So J or G, however you say that. Here, toggle comment. So as you can see, like how I'm doing this is essentially just using the autocomplete just by knowing what the thing is. So if I do GCC, it toggles comment and can work multiple lines. Yep, that works. And next, let's see, does this work with like references? If I do, for example, JR, no, it doesn't actually. So I'm used to like pressing JR, and that's not doing that. So let's go back to my keymaps, and let's go to references like this, or references. Can we do references? Yeah, there you go. So if I go to main and I do something like JR, it opens up that, so I can see all the references for that specific thing. And it seems like this is very consistent. So like when you search for everything, it has the same kind of view, kind of separated by a line. And I think if you click on them, maybe it takes you there, or there's like here. Yeah, that's nice. So next we don't need to do like go to definition, because if you remember here, some of these things are already kind of configured for us, which is nice. So yeah, there's some of the defaults are actually exactly how we want them, so that's good. So what else can we do here? Terminal. Well, I'm not going to use the terminal. I don't think I'm going to use this way here. I'm just going to use this terminal. So that's good. Yeah, we have this thing that we just started with, actually, this guy, which allows you to select and just move the lines up and down. I want to be able to translate that. So I know this would be in the visual mode, because, when you select, you're in a visual mode. Also notice, like if I do something right down here, you see the mode you're in. So it's visual mode, insert mode, etc. So here, I know it's Shift K. It does something. And then we have Shift J. So I know what these things are, and I'll show you in a bit how you can find kind of how to find these things in the first place. Like in this case, I know that this one would be the move line up. So Shift K would be move line up, and here move line down. So now if I select this, I can just take it up and down, which is pretty cool. Also notice like it just formats everything really fast. So here I have like this extra comma. If I just save, it takes it out. What else can we do here? Let's see my notes. I think those actually cover the majority of what I really like in my configuration. Let's see. So if I go back to which key, oh yeah, leader ST. So I need to search for all text. Do I have that? I do not. So let's just put it here. So space ST. I want to be able to essentially search text or something. Deploy search. I think this might be the one. Let's see. So leader ST. That didn't work. Leader ST. There you go. So that kind of searched the entire project. You see you have regex and text and this thing, toggle word. So you can just toggle between them. Usually the default is enough for me. So text is what I'm looking for. So if I search for print, it should show you all of these. And what if I just want to go there without having to use the mouse? So I know this, it's J space. There you go. That works. So that's pretty fast. Leader F for search, leader ST for searching all text. Search and replace. Let's see. Replace. Vim toggle replace, search toggle replace. How does that work? Replace. Maybe you have to be in a code thingy here. Replace. Doesn't seem to work, so I don't know what that does. Okay, well, do we have something for here? We don't, but also this is very interesting. If I just right click on something, you can see all the different things. We pretty much covered most of them, so that's nice. Go to implementation. Well, maybe this is the one. Type definition. Let's see. What is the type definition here? This guy. G, capital D. But we have this guy. So type definition for me would be this one. So I have it mapped to JO. Cool. So let's go back here and let's go back to our keymaps. And here we can do JO. Go to definition. I want type definition. There you go. So now if I go to main and let's just go here and JO, that takes me there. Sweet. Next. Let's go to our keymaps. Declaration. Do I have that here? This is really smart. Like they kind of thought about it already. Sometimes you just need to open things in a split and they already have that baked in. It's pretty cool. These are pretty much the defaults. I'm happy with these. The Copilot one, Control X, Control C. Okay, these are pretty much the majority of what I care about. So is there a way to hide tabs? So I don't want to see the tabs. I don't care about them. I just want to use this. Let's see. Settings. Can I see all settings, for example? Settings. Open default settings. Tabs. Maybe it's called buffers. Buffers. how do I hide these things? I don't think I can actually. Yeah, it doesn't seem like we can hide these. That's interesting. So what else do we have here? Let's say we go to main and just remove this. You see already we have down there, you see that shows you diagnostics, and you see this X here. So you can click on it if you want. They have this here, which is, this is another feature of this editor, is that you can collaborate with others. So you can invite people and kind of chat with them and collaborate over the code. And then on this side, you have this assistant panel. So I think I configured this already, but it works with ChatGPT. And you have your terminal, you have Copilot, and up here, inline assistant. Oh, interesting. Let's see. Let's just select this maybe. Like that. And just hit on that. And say, for example, change to print F. Or remove printing. Oh, you actually need to connect to OpenAPI for that. Okay. So one other thing actually we didn't touch on is I want to configure the LSP itself. And if we go to our configuration here, and here in our docs, it's pretty detailed docs, by the way. You can see pretty much everything you want. Also, this is another cool thing, Git. So if I go back to my editor, you see we have this Git gutter thing. Similar to Git signs, it shows you like that changed things, which is pretty nice. And inlay hints, I usually don't like those, so I need to disable that. Let's see. If we go to our settings and inlay hints. Okay, I need this to be gone. It seems like it's an object, so let's just put that here. And enabled is false. Nice. You can notice like it kind of helps you with all those auto-completion. You don't need to think a lot about how to configure something. Like I'm barely using the docs really. So let's go back and see LSP. So we have this, the name of the LSP and the configuration inside of this initialization options. Okay, cool. We can go back to here. We can go back here and you can put LSP. And here, we have to put first the name of the thing. So to say go PLS. And here we can put, let me check my docs. Yep. So let's just copy these quickly. And just paste them. There you go. So this is how you configure your LSP. Just use the keyword LSP, the name of the LSP, and just put everything inside of this guy. So that's what I use. So for example, if you're using Rust analyzer, that's how you do it. Let's see if Copilot can do it for us. Initialization options. Okay, let's just use this, for example. Yeah, there you go. So that's how you can configure, for example, different LSPs. I would assume like TypeScript has something similar, etc. Nice. So going back here, I know I saw a thing here where you can, there you go. So you can toggle inlay hint from here as well. So you see, it shows you really useful information. I usually don't like that. So it's pretty clean. Like if you're trying to use it like that, for example, it's pretty clean, which is pretty nice. There's not a lot of busyness on these buffers. What else can we configure? So back to settings. I think that's pretty much all of what I care about. Yeah, that's pretty much all of it. So let me show you how you can find the different configurations. So if you go back here, this guy here. So if you go to this Vim docs and you scroll down a little bit, there's a file here, or like a page, which is this guy. If you open this, this shows you all the different Vim things you can do with this editor and what they are. So let's say, I don't know, definition, control something here. This guy takes you definition. So this is how you know what you can do in the first place. So control D, scroll down, etc. These are the kind of default maps, I think. So you can just rename, take this, for example, and make it something different. And pretty much everything you can do with within Vim is probably can be found here, and you can just rename them or remap them. I think these things, you can probably have multiple things happening, like so a key map would do, or I think this is like a specific configuration for that. Yeah, so that's how you find most of these things. And some of them already kind of searched for and found them, so hence why it was like a quick thing for me to figure out how to configure it. So one other thing I noticed is that this has extensions, so you can actually install a bunch of extensions. So I have Cappuccino here. I know the community is adding a lot, not just themes, supporting languages and things like that. So Tamil is already installed. It's growing really fast, which is awesome. The best thing is like everything is written in Rust, which is pretty cool. It's going to be really fast and most likely like memory. It's not going to consume a lot of memory, which is good. So these are most of the configuration I care about. I'm mostly writing Go these days, so that would be the only configuration I want. So if we go to main, let's say, let's see if this runs tests. Here's a simple basic test. Is there anything that has to do with tests? Test. No. So run. I don't think there's anything you can do to run your tests. I know, for example, in Vim, not this one, so it'll be like here. Go. This is the project. So if I open up this project and I can go to, say, this thing, I have also this map, which is control P. It takes me right away to the test, and I can switch back and forth. I wrote this like in some custom Lua, so I can switch between the test and the implementation. And here, if I have this test runner thingy, so if I press space and T, and then I want to test, for example, the file, press F, and it runs that. So this feature is not there yet here, but that's fine. You can just use your terminal. Yeah, so that's pretty much all of it. That's how you can configure Vim, or you can port your keymaps. I pretty much have most of what I really use day to day, my custom things at least, and anything else is just there for you. So like pretty much all the Vim motions are working correctly, up and down, Control D, Control U, VI, this guy. So all the Vim motions you're used to are already configured for you. So that's awesome. And that's how you can configure specific keymaps. They support all different types of Vim modes. Yeah, so that works. Yeah, so that's all of it. Hope you found this useful. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.